WWE talent are apparently less likely to leave for AEW. A new Women's Championship Battle Royal has been announced, and a former world champion has undergone surgery. Stay tuned for all the details. Now, the wrestling world being the way it is these days, we've got multiple potential landing spots for any free agent talent within the wrestling sphere. But also, you know, there's a lot of talent that historically, when we've had major companies, like plural, that jump from side to side. Now, we've seen that currently from both sides. We've seen people coming and going, but the Wrestling Observer newsletter has given some insight into the behind the scenes feeling in WWE regarding talent leaving for AEW. Now, during an update on Drew McIntyre's contract with WWE, which corroborated Fightful's previous report that his contract expires at the end of May, the Observer noted that there's the belief that WWE talent is less likely now to opt for AEW than in the past. It also notes that McIntyre is now seen by the company as one of WWE's top full-time wrestlers alongside Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I don't think that's surprising at all.
It's not that surprising that he's seen in that light. He is someone who has really in the past few months taken the company on his back.
Does everything asked of him.
It does everything, yep.
Put him in a high profile match, he always knocks it out of the park. Like, Drew is just a reliable,
constantly promoting the company and doing it in a way that also promotes himself, but not in a way that it's like he's the priority.
And it's not like copy paste or like cringe sort of like, do this and watch this, and like it's very natural in the way that he does it.
And his current character at the moment is on another level. The way him and CM Punk have a ton of chemistry. Him and Seth Rollins had a ton of chemistry. It's not a surprise that he is seen as one of the top full-time stars. What is a little bit surprising, though, and it was what was corroborated by Fightful, or what was corroborating Fightful, I should say, is that his contract expires in May. But WWE don't see AEW as a worry because it's less likely WWE talent is going to go there.
Part of me thinks that with the standing of Drew now in the company, that it's surely something they're talking about, right? They've got to be looking at contract negotiations, but at the same time, you know, it wouldn't surprise me. There's nothing stopping talent jumping, right? Just because it's less likely to happen doesn't mean it can't ever happen. And Drew is somebody that would be a net gain at any company he's been to. We've seen him like go on a tear through Impact before and completely reinvent himself before coming back to the UK scene, reinventing himself some more and going back to NXT is an entirely different beast. So Drew isn't a stranger to going away and reinvention and all of that. But I think when you've got the carrot of Punk, you've got like all these major feuds, you've had that tease at Mania
and Clash at the Castle.
You've got Clash at the Castle in Glasgow
after his contract is set to expire.
So it's maybe we see a kayfabe situation play out in which Drew steps away from the company, but I feel like Drew's going to be staying.
I think he's going to be staying, but that line, there is a belief that WWE talent is less likely now to opt for AEW. I feel in the long run, if that's WWE's belief, it might harm some of the contract offers that are given to WWE talent.
It'll certainly limit them.
Yeah, because if they're thinking, they're not going to go to AEW, they're not going to offer as much money and there's less competition, and competition makes everything better.
Like, we already know that they're not willing to just match Tony and outbid Tony for talents as rich as Ospreay, right? So they're not willing to really put themselves into a financial pit on a talent, I guess. So they're willing to let people walk off if they need to. So it's definitely an interesting one, but I'd be keen to see how likely it is statistically, like hard statistics, how likely is it that we'd see AEW talent jump and make like a considerable splash, like someone like a Jade Cargill? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, we've seen Jade move over, but we've also seen Adam Copeland, Edge move over the other way. Yeah. So we've seen talent go back and forth.
Yeah. I guess we've seen more from WWE in AEW as it stands.
Yeah.
Now moving over to some very serious news regarding Rossy Ogawa and Marigold. Some comments from Kenny Omega made on a live stream. Marigold are the promotion that Rossy Ogawa is starting in the face of him leaving or being ousted. I'm not quite sure fully what happened there from Stardom, but essentially Kenny said, from someone who lived it, breathed it, who has very close friends in the industry, I don't necessarily mean the wrestling industry, I mean the industry. The government issued press, the information they know. I'm just going to leave it at that. I would say don't be so quick to listen to praise for that individual, because someday, I'm not sure when it'll be, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday people will know the truth. What they do with that truth, I don't know. Will they share it? Maybe. I know a lot of the higher-ups in Japan that know exactly what. I don't care about Rossy being an E-drone, a WWE-affiliated person. That's no big deal. He's done, and that's not even the tip. Just you friggin' wait. if you're still interested in wrestling and you're listening to the stories and reading stuff, when it finally comes out, I'll say one thing. There are a lot of people who refuse to work for him for the very same reason. Some of those people are in WWE, some are in AEW. They have a very good reason. It's not just, I decided to wake up and not like this guy. If you want to know along what lines they tread amongst, the dude just flat out said, we're looking for girls ages 13 to 21 that don't have a boyfriend and aren't married. We already know that he puts underage girls in very revealing swimsuit calendars and books. I wish that's all he did. Let's put it that way. And now, obviously, we can't speculate on this. No. It's not something that we should get into. But there's been a trend of this sort of stuff coming to light. If this indeed is the case, what Kenny is insinuating in Japan, particularly if you look at Johnny and Associates, if you do some searching about that, all of the information coming forward after the passing of the founder of that company, and what went on to, I guess, preserve that company while he was alive, when people were coming forward with stories. But if we get any more news about this, about Marigold or the Ogawa situation, we will keep you updated, so do make sure to keep your eyes peeled on cultaholic.com. Now, moving over to NXT now, we've got a report from Fightful that while there was talk of bringing Trick Williams up to the main roster during the draft at the end of April, he's no longer apparently being considered for a call-up at this time. However, they do note that the main roster officials remain high on the NXT star, and it's expected that he's going to be a focal point of NXT moving forward, and I don't think anybody would be surprised by that.
That's not a surprise, right? Trick Williams.
He's already a focal point of NXT.
That's the thing, yeah, he's already
the focal point. He just needs to become
point.
The focal point.
And he's challenging Ilya Dragunov at Spring Breaking for that NXT championship. I would not be surprised to see him win that title there and then become the guy in NXT. There was some criticism of Trick Williams this past week online. People criticizing, saying he's not that good. I think he's pretty damn good considering he's not been doing this very long.
Yeah.
He's in NXT. That's the whole point of developmental.
he's in development.
And he has insane unmatched charisma. That man, Booker T said it best when he said Shamon, because that guy, it is Trick Williams, you know, he whoop that trick and all that. He's going to be a big star, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's unfair to criticize talent in developmental, especially talent who haven't really been in and around things for very long. So I think that as somebody who is making a major name for himself, that speaks volumes, right? The fact that Trick is everywhere, everybody in the fan base is talking about him. I think that how can you not see an immensely bright future for him?
Well, I do agree. It is probably a bit too soon to call him up to that main roster. Yeah. WWE going, should we bring him up, and deciding no. I think that's a smart decision.
Personally, I think we should get to a point with NXT where whoever's the champion gets called up, right?
Yeah.
So, but then you can start turning that into a storyline device. Yeah. And I think that you could build, somebody who maybe fans want on the main roster, but they're not. You can do finish the story style arc with a lot of this stuff.
To try and get up to the main roster.
I think, Trick Williams having this ammunition now with the company maybe going, well, not yet.
Yeah,
there's a lot that he's going to be able to do with that.
I think also if you took him out of NXT right now, we know Ilya Dragunov is looking at a call-up, and we're also seeing Carmelo Hayes looking for a call-up. If you take Trick Williams...
Leave things a bit bare.
Leaves it quite bare in that top upper echelon of talent.
Sean seems to have his head screwed on as well, so he knows the depth chart he needs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just not the time right now. But moving over to last night's SmackDown, where it was announced that there's going to be a new Women's World Champion crowned via a Battle Royal on Raw. Now, advertised for the match, among the names advertised are Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Chelsea Green, Tegan Nox, Nia Jax, and the recently released Xia Li.
Yeah, so it looks like we discussed that earlier with Xia Li, which you can go and find out on the first news video what we're on about. But yeah, recently released Xia Li. It looks like she's not going to be part of the match, but she was advertised for the match after her release.
It could. I mean, we've seen talent used
within that 90 days.
Within the 90-day window before, so it wouldn't be outside the realms of possibility. Especially women's battle royals. The company is trying their hardest to build the women's division, so we tend to see a lot of unfamiliar faces or lesser seen faces popping up in battle royals. So it wouldn't be shocking for me if she appeared, but it's a very exciting prospect. It's just gutting for Rhea.
That's the thing. It really gutting for Rhea. This is obviously coming around.
Man.
Yeah, she was on it 380 days that title reign lasted. Obviously, this has come about because of that injury, which was unfortunately caused by Liv Morgan. There's a lot of heat on Liv Morgan from in terms of storyline. And I feel like that's the best way to harness that is have Liv win the title here.
Yeah.
And become the heel character to this Rhea Ripley that'll come back as a face.
Rhea just turning back up. This is like, it's so horrible that she's injured, but like, we get the fact that she's 100%, she's just going to pop up at some point.
Going to pop up and destroy Liv.
Be amazing. So I guess we've got that to look forward to. But moving over toward The Rock, the final boss of the World Wrestling Entertainment. Wrestling Observer Newsletter has reported that there is a chance of The Rock doing a match later this year, but the Rhodes match is tentatively set for Mania, whether Rhodes is champion or not now. We've been hearing that it was sort of a title-dependent match.
Yes, so it seems to be like this is adding more fuel to the fire that there is the chance that The Rock will wrestle this year. It seems to be going back and forth on whether he's going to have another match. We don't know what that match is going to be, but if he does wrestle later this year, the Rhodes match will likely not be it. That will be planned for WrestleMania 41 as The Undertaker maybe revealed earlier on in video 1 where that could be.
There you go. That'll be what we're doing. It'll be Saudi Arabia, Rock versus Austin versus Taker versus Kane versus
Goldberg.
Shawn Michaels versus Goldberg.
Yeah, Chuck Goldberg in there.
Goldberg wins, spear through all of them at once. Yeah.
All of them at once.
And then Eric Bischoff comes out, announces that WCW's coming back. A boy can dream.
Catch the Nitro review with Sam and Tom on podcast feeds and Patreon.
We're going to wrap things up here with some news about Seth Rollins. Becky Lynch confirming on the Late Late Show that Seth Rollins has undergone surgery this past Tuesday.
Yeah, this was to repair his knee. Now, obviously, at the start of the year in that match with Jinder Mahal for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Seth tweaked his knee. It seemed to suffer a knee injury. It kept him out of action until the week before WrestleMania. Becky Lynch saying, so he just got surgery on Tuesday. He got surgery on his knee. He tore his meniscus a while before WrestleMania. So his rehab, I suppose, is running after a 3-year-old now. So confirmation that he did injure his meniscus. It seems that he also reportedly tore his MCL, and this is surgery to repair all that. Now, the fact that he has been working in need of surgery.
Yep.
He got cleared, obviously, but he's been working in the need of surgery and only now just done it. What a trooper. He had 2 matches at WrestleMania.
Look, I think people have always sort of looked at Seth's status as company guy with a bit of side eye to it, because he tended to be somebody who would jump to the defense of the company publicly, to the defense of his fellow stars publicly, and he's got every right to do that. But I think a lot of people in the fan base saw it as like a bit eye-rolly.
Yeah.
But like to actually sit and look at it, Rollins is a massive company guy. He could have easily gone, I need surgery, I'm out.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, he didn't. He's seen this through. He got all the way through to Mania. Obviously getting cleared to make sure it was safe for him to continue working. You don't want to throw somebody in there when it's just going to aggravate it and make things much, much worse. But you know, the fact that Seth is out there doing all of this and still being such a giving performer while suffering through that, it's crazy.
You could see at WrestleMania 40 in the moment where Cody Rhodes won and Seth was walking around the ring saying they shake hands. Seth was really badly limping. Yeah. And it looked like he'd really injured himself. I'm not surprised. He deserves this time off. We know he was going to get time off. That was reported last week. More than earned.
It's got to be one of the hardest things because it's like everybody obviously puts on masks like mentally, but like to have to physically mask an injury is like...
And perform at the highest level.
And perform at the highest level in front of tens of thousands of people while making it look like you've not missed a step or anything. Yeah. Nuts. So we send it all of our best to Seth Rollins there in his recovery. Hopefully he does get enough rehab running around after a 3-year-old.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Maybe some CrossFit.
And hopefully some sleep. I can't imagine that there's much sleep involved
Maybe if he gets enough downtime, he can write a book.
Yeah, exactly.
We might be back later on if any other major news breaks, but if not, keep it with us here at Cultaholic through the weekend. We've got plenty of content coming out. And we'll catch you in a bit.